Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Accidental Expat. I am Steve, the expat living in Colombia, and this is my channel, so welcome to it. This week, we're going to change gears a little bit. As you saw yesterday, I had something out already. This Friday, we have a very exciting, very good Free Will Burning podcast coming up with former member of mine, bandmate of mine on, going to be talking about then and now. He's still and has been throughout all this, a recording artist and is still out there today. We'll have him on then. But for today, I want to pick up kind of where I left off yesterday. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's linked below. I did a little thought experiment on so many people these days saying that the world just doesn't seem the same to them. And it sort of helped me to see this strange pattern that's been developing over the course of my life that I really haven't really understood until really the last few years. And that is that on many occasions, strangers, Uber drivers, the guy at the bank, the nurse at the VA, a doctor, whoever it might have been that I might have been involved with just briefly, they've occasionally seen me more clearly, I think, than people that have known, my sort of life history for decades. And sort of, why is that? And I don't mean that they know more facts about me. They don't at all. They don't know where I come from. They just don't know what I've done. But sometimes in brief interaction like that, they respond to me as I'm actually am in that moment, not a story of me. For a long time, I thought it was that I meant I was hard to know, or that I kept people at a distance, or that I moved too much before I could settle and get to know people. But I don't think that's really what it was. I think it was just as life unfolded, I just sort of responded to the events going on around me. And I moved a lot. I lived in a lot of places. I've had institutions change underneath me. I've had roles collapse, identity reset, systems that were supposed to be stable weren't. Every time that happened, I had to relearn the function inside a new set of conditions, which I think I've done pretty well. New rules, new expectations, new constraint. But at times, it came slowly. And I began to see that, you can control your conditions so much, but you can't completely control all of them. And so what you have to do is just to adapt and make best of what you have, learn from maybe what's gone wrong, make a mistake into a learning opportunity, and then readapt and move on. I mean, it could be said that you have a hard time setting goals, but what if the goal moves? If literally in a basketball game, if I'm heading down the court and there's the goal, what if it suddenly shifts over there? And so we have that. It's called life, but still, it's happened a lot. And, that's how I've sort of managed that. And I don't think that that's any kind of resignation. I think it's more just agency, because over the last few episodes, we've talked a lot about these things. And I've thought, are we just living in the past, or are we sort of, continuously evolving and nothing's really changed to begin with? We've reacted. We've compared 1982 to today. We've talked about growing up wild, unsupervised, mostly invisible, running around until the streetlights come on, all that Gen X mythology stuff that was real. And I'm honest. Yeah, some of it sounds like complaining. It sounds like bitching. And I hear it when I say it out loud. I'm always very cognizant of that. I don't want to be thought as complaining. We look at today and we talk about surveillance, algorithms, attention to economies, constant documentation. It's easy to fall into, this sucks. This was so much better before. But the big picture is whether it's getting better or worse isn't really that. It really is, do we evolve? Do we adapt? Can we change? Are we stuck in the mud? Do we have the ability to just roll with it and realize this is what we have and we've got to do something with it either way? This is not the same thing as saying just accept it. It's not shut up and comply. It's saying recognize reality clearly without nostalgia or panic, and then decide how you're going to live inside it. This is a grown-up stance. This is where I want to zoom out a little bit and go back to one of these sort of looking back. All right. If you're going to go back to 1975, when the Church Commission came out, we had all this news hit about all these secret government agencies doing all these things. You had MK Ultra, Cointopro. I don't even know how to say it. I'm not familiar with that one. Domestic surveillance, media manipulation, they were all there. And the story we tend to tell ourselves is that was then. No, that's what we called it then. To think that that is not still around is naive. It's just evolved as well. What changed was the technology, the language, the scale, and the plausible deniability. None of this can be proven the way people want proof. So there's no single smoking gun you can point at and see, there it is, gotcha. But it's acknowledged. Plenty of it's documented. Some of it's in fragments, but it's lived. And I'm not saying this to alarm you. I'm saying this to contextualize it as we move forward, that it's just a feeling that we all feel, much like we feel today, that the world is not the same. So at this point, I'm going to slow this slide here. On the left here, or I guess it'd be over me, I think. This is what the U.S. Senate documented in the 1970s. Behavioral influence experiments, disruption of domestic groups, media influence, warrantless monitoring. Now today, algorithmic behavioral nudging, platform-based visibility filtering and amplification, data-driven media narratives, mass metadata collection, largely via commercial platforms. And I'm not saying that these are all the same thing. I'm saying that they just sort of rhyme. They're sort of analogs of it, sort of, like an echo of it. And so it's the same pulse, different tone, same pulse. And, it's different ownership, perhaps, of receiving the messages. But it's still the message being received in one way or another. That's it. No arrows, just conclusions for you to draw. So what does this have to do with me moving so much? Or strangers meeting me that have known me for 20 minutes and suddenly know more about me than people that know my life history? Well, here's what I think. When you grow up inside a stable system, identity gets reinforced by continuity. Same place, same role, same expectations. But when the ground keeps shifting, you learn something else. You learn how to read a room, how to present clearly, how to be legible in motion. Strangers don't carry your accumulative narrative. They don't have a file on you. They don't need you to be consistent with who you were 10 years ago. They respond to you as a single story that's happening right now in the world that's really unfolding there, right there before them, in a very fluid world, not one that is documented and curated and filtered and delivered just as you want. You're being who you are in that moment. I miss that. So what you need to do is not control the world. You can just control you. And then maybe that's how the world will perceive you in that moment. And maybe that's what the moment is asking of all of us, not to retreat into nostalgia, not to panic about the future, but to grow differently now. Maybe the lesson isn't that things were better before. Maybe it's that we're being asked to develop a different kind of maturity, one that works inside uncertainty instead of waiting for it to go away. Because strangers see me clearly when I'm in motion. That might be what life asks us to do now. Remain in motion. I'll see you Friday, man.